Is everyone ready for today's biggest entertainment? The wedding? No, my fat ex-wife. You actually invited her? Of course. How else will she see what she lost?
Do you really think she'll come?
She'll come. People like Mercy always hold on to hope.
Isn't that a little cruel?
Just wait until she walks in alone. No husband, no family, no future.
Daniel proudly tells everyone, "I invited my fat ex-wife. Tonight, everyone will finally see why I divorced her." His wealthy friends laugh, expecting Mercy to arrive embarrassed and alone. Then a convoy of luxury SUVs pulls into the venue. Security officers step out. The chairman of Daniel's company arrives. Everyone stands. Then the chairman's son opens the rear door and helps Mercy out. Daniel's face turns pale. What happens next makes the groom realize he might have played himself. Stay with me until the very end of this story, because this isn't just a tale about revenge. It's a powerful reminder that true beauty is found in character, loyalty, and resilience, and that the people you look down on today may become the very people you wish you had never let go. And if you want more story like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on so that you won't miss the next story, and feel free to drop a comment and like. His own boss walks toward Mercy with a smile and says, "Welcome to the family, my future daughter-in-law." The wedding hall falls completely silent. From that moment, Daniel realizes he has just humiliated himself instead of Mercy. Few hours earlier, the wedding hall glittered with expensive decorations, fresh flowers imported from overseas, and guests dressed in outfits worth more than most families earned in a year. Soft music filled the air as waiters carried trays of sparkling drinks through the crowd. Daniel stood proudly beside his bride, greeting influential guests one after another. Today was the happiest day of his life, or so he thought. He leaned toward his best friend with a smug smile. "Did you think she will come?" His friend laughed. "She's coming." Daniel chuckled. "Perfect." His friends burst into laughter. "I can't wait to see the look on her face. She'll walk in alone, see everything she lost, and finally realize she was never good enough for this life." One guest asked quietly, "Was inviting her really necessary?" Daniel smiled without remorse. "Oh, absolutely. I want everyone to see why I left her." Across the hall, guests whispered, "Is that the plus-sized ex-wife he divorced? I heard she still hasn't moved on. This is going to be embarrassing." No one knew the greatest embarrassment would belong to the groom, because at that very moment, a convoy of black luxury SUVs was approaching the venue. And before the wedding ceremony ended, the man who planned to humiliate his ex-wife would become the laughingstock of everyone he wanted to impress. 5 years earlier, life looked nothing like this. Daniel wasn't rich. He worked as a junior employee in a construction company, earning barely enough to survive. Every month was a struggle. His shoes were worn out. His apartment leaked whenever it rained. There were nights when he and Mercy shared one meal because that was all they could afford. But Mercy never complained. She believed difficult seasons never lasted forever. Unlike many people, Mercy had a special gift. She designed beautiful handmade African bead accessories, bridal crowns, necklaces, handbags, and elegant pieces that reflected African culture. Although her work was beautiful, few people appreciated it. Most customers wanted cheap factory-made products. Still, Mercy refused to give up. She often stayed awake until midnight creating new designs. Then she would wake before sunrise to sell them at local markets. Whenever Daniel became discouraged, Mercy encouraged him. "When your opportunity comes," she always said, "you must be ready." One afternoon, Daniel returned home looking defeated. "My company is promoting someone to regional manager." Mercy smiled. "That's wonderful." He sighed. "It would be if I could afford the leadership certification they require." The course cost more than 6 months of his salary. Daniel gave up immediately. "It's impossible." Mercy quietly walked into the bedroom. Inside a small wooden box lay the only valuable thing left by her late grandmother, a collection of rare handcrafted coral beads that had been passed down through generations. She held them tightly. They weren't just jewelry. They were family history. The following morning, the beads were gone. Daniel found the money neatly wrapped on the table. "What happened?" Mercy smiled gently. "Some treasures are meant to build someone's future." Daniel hugged her tightly. I'll never forget this. But success has a way of testing promises. Months later, Daniel earned a promotion. Then another. Then another. His salary tripled. He bought a new car, moved into a luxury estate, and started attending exclusive business parties. Slowly, his circle changed. His new friends constantly mocked Mercy. She's too fat. She doesn't match your status. You should marry someone elegant, someone sophisticated. At first, Daniel defended her. Eventually, he stopped. Then one evening, after an executive dinner, he looked at Mercy differently. You embarrass me tonight. Mercy frowned. I barely spoke. You don't understand. What don't I understand? You don't fit into my new life. Those words broke something inside her. I stood beside you when nobody believed in you. I know. I sacrificed everything. I know. So why? Daniel answered coldly. Successful men need wives who represent success. Mercy stared at him in silence. So because I'm plus-sized, I'm suddenly not good enough? Daniel looked away. I want a divorce. Her heart shattered. Within weeks, their marriage ended. Mercy walked away with tears, but also with dignity. For months she cried. Every memory hurt. Every promise echoed in her mind. Then one elderly woman visited her small workshop. The woman admired Mercy's beadwork before saying quietly, Child, people may overlook your value, but never overlook yourself. Those words changed Mercy forever. She stopped trying to create products that pleased everyone. Instead, she focused on celebrating African beauty. She designed luxury accessories for women of every size, shape, and background. Her work told women they were beautiful exactly as they were. Social media discovered her creations. Fashion influencers began wearing them. International boutiques contacted her. Soon, orders came from Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, London, and Paris. Within 4 years, Mercy's company had become one of Africa's leading luxury handcrafted accessory brands. Ironically, the woman once mocked for her appearance had built a business helping thousands of women feel confident. One afternoon, Mercy attended a charity exhibition supporting young African artisans. While arranging her display, a young man approached. He smiled warmly. These are incredible. Thank you. I'm Ethan. Unlike other wealthy men, he never asked about her size, never asked about her past. He only wanted to know her dreams. They spent hours talking. Weeks became months. Friendship became love. One day, Ethan finally smiled nervously. I think it's time you met my father. Mercy laughed. I'd love to. She had no idea his father was the chairman of Daniel's company. Daniel had heard countless stories about the chairman's son, but because Ethan managed the family's overseas businesses, they had never met. When the chairman welcomed Mercy warmly into his home, she finally understood who Ethan really was. Instead of feeling intimidated, she was treated like family. Months later, Ethan proposed. With tears in her eyes, Mercy said yes. Meanwhile, Daniel was planning the most extravagant wedding his city had ever seen. Then an idea crossed his mind, a cruel one. He sent Mercy an invitation. Inside was a handwritten note. I hope you'll come and witness how far I've come. His friends laughed when they heard about it. This will be unforgettable. Daniel smiled proudly. Oh, it certainly will. Finally, the wedding day arrived. Guests filled every seat. Everyone kept glancing toward the entrance. Then a loud rumble echoed outside. Luxury SUVs entered the compound one after another. Security personnel stepped out. The atmosphere changed instantly. Someone whispered, That's the chairman's convoy. The entire hall stood respectfully. Daniel straightened his suit. His boss had arrived. The chairman stepped out first. Then a young man opened another door. He reached inside and gently helped Mercy out. The entire hall froze. She wore an elegant African gown, beautifully matched with accessories from her own collection. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She simply looked confident, peaceful, and radiant. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. Ethan smiled proudly and held Mercy's hand. Together they walked toward the entrance. Then the chairman spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear, Welcome, my future daughter-in-law. Silence. Complete silence. Guests stared at Daniel. His bride looked confused. His friends lower their heads. The same people who had laughed at Mercy only moments earlier suddenly rushed over to greet her. Mercy smiled politely. She greeted everyone with respect. No pride, no insults, no revenge. As she walked past Daniel, she paused for only a second. Their eyes met. Then she simply said, I genuinely hope you find the happiness you're looking for. And she continued walking. That single sentence hurt Daniel more than any insult ever could. Daniel stood frozen as Mercy walked away with Ethan and the chairman. The wedding guests who had laughed at her only minutes earlier now surrounded her, asking for photographs, business cards, and introductions. Even Daniel's own bride could not hide her curiosity. Who is she? She whispered. Daniel swallowed hard. She's my ex-wife. The bride stared at him in disbelief. Your ex-wife? The woman you called a burden? The woman you said would never amount to anything. Daniel couldn't answer. Across the hall, the chairman raised his glass. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced with a smile, before today's celebration continues, allow me to introduce someone very special. The room fell silent. This remarkable young woman is Mercy. She is not only one of Africa's most respected luxury accessories designers, but she has also trained over 3,000 widows and young women to build sustainable businesses. Applause erupted. The chairman continued, My son tells me she never measures people by their wealth. She measures them by their hearts. That is why I am proud to welcome her into our family. The applause grew even louder. Daniel felt every clap like a slap across his face. For years, he had chased acceptance from wealthy people, yet the same people now admired the woman he had thrown away. The wedding continued, but Daniel could barely concentrate. His bride noticed. You've hardly smiled since she arrived. I'm fine, Daniel lied. No, she replied quietly. You're regretting something. He looked away. Deep inside, he knew she was right. Mercy had no interest in ruining Daniel's wedding. She greeted the guests politely, congratulated the couple, and spent most of her time speaking with elderly women who admired her designs. Before leaving, she quietly placed an envelope on the gift table. Inside was a handwritten note. Congratulations on your marriage. May your home be built on honesty, respect, and loyalty, because without those, no amount of wealth can keep two people together. I sincerely wish you both happiness. Mercy. When Daniel read the note later that evening, his hands trembled. She could have mocked him. She could have embarrassed him. Instead, she chose grace. That hurt even more. Months passed. Daniel returned fully to work, hoping to forget everything that had happened. But trouble was already growing inside the company. Several senior managers had secretly been approving fake contracts. Money disappeared. Projects were abandoned. When the fraud was finally uncovered, investigators questioned every department. Although Daniel had not stolen any money himself, he had ignored several warning signs because he wanted to please influential colleagues. The chairman looked at him sadly. I trusted you. Daniel lowered his head. I'm sorry, sir. Leadership is not only about making profits. It is about protecting what is right. Daniel lost his position. Without his salary, maintaining his expensive lifestyle became impossible. The luxury apartment was sold. The expensive cars disappeared. The friends who had once crowded around him stopped answering his calls. One by one, everyone vanished. Only then did Daniel understand most of those friendships had been built on money, not loyalty. Meanwhile, Mercy's business continued to flourish. Instead of buying more luxury cars, she opened training centers across different communities. Young women learned bead artistry. Single mothers learned business management. Widows received interest-free loans to start small businesses. Whenever journalists asked why she gave away so much money, Mercy always smiled. I know what it feels like when someone believes you have no value. I never want another woman to feel that way. Her words inspired thousands. 3 years later, Mercy's foundation organized its biggest outreach program yet. Hundreds of volunteers gathered before sunrise to distribute food, school supplies, and business grants. Among the volunteers was a quiet man wearing a simple vest. His beard had grown. His clothes were ordinary. Very few people recognized him. It was Daniel. He had chosen to volunteer because he wanted to become a better man, not because anyone was watching. As he arranged food packages, he heard a familiar voice behind him. "Thank you for helping today." He turned slowly. "Mercy." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Daniel finally broke the silence. "I never imagined we'd meet like this." Mercy smiled gently. "Life has a way of surprising us." Daniel looked down. "I've replayed our past 1,000 times. If I could change one decision," he stopped himself. Tears filled his eyes. "I would choose you again." Mercy remained quiet. "I don't expect another chance," Daniel continued. "I only wanted you to know that I was wrong. I confused appearance with worth. I confused popularity with success. And I confused pride with happiness." Mercy nodded softly. "The hardest lessons often become the most valuable." Daniel wiped his eyes. "Can you ever forgive me?" She smiled. "I forgave you years ago." His shoulders relaxed. "But forgiveness," she continued, "doesn't always mean life returns to the way it was." Daniel nodded. "I understand." She extended her hand. "No matter what happened between us, I truly hope you become the man you were always capable of being." Daniel shook her hand. For the first time in many years, he felt peace. Not because his life was perfect, but because he had finally faced the truth. As Mercy walked away to greet more volunteers, Daniel watched the crowd surrounding her. Children hugged her. Elderly women blessed her. Young entrepreneurs thanked her for changing their lives. He smiled through his tears. Years earlier, he had believed a person's value came from appearance, status, and wealth. Now he knew better. A person's greatest beauty is found in the lives they touch, and the greatest revenge is not making your enemies suffer. It is becoming so successful, so kind, and so fulfilled that their hatred no longer has any power over you. And if you want more story like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on so that you won't miss the next story, and feel free to drop a comment and like. See you in the next video.